Chael, when you fought Brian Stann, who, by the way, guys, Chael thought was dead, and sent a message to his phone, Brian, man, I want to apologize. He thought he died with COVID, talking about 2020.
I had some bad info.
Chael sent an apology to Brian's phone. If Brian was dead, he would have never gotten the message.
What's happening, guys? Welcome to another episode of Good Guy, Bad Guy. I'm Chael. He's Daniel. Partner, where should we begin? You know what? I want to ask you a question. How much sleep do you get on an average night?
I don't. Like, I've been up since 1:30 this morning. I go to bed at 9. I usually wake up like 1:30, 2 o'clock. And yeah, it's not good, Chael. But what's happening right now is I'm watching this show called The Morning Show. Dude, Chael, I had no idea. I've been watching this thing pop up on my feed for years. Ignored it. Started it, fell in love, binged season 1. I'm into season 2, and the pandemic's about to happen. So it's almost like running me back to 2020 when we were all going crazy. Chill. It's really, really good. And so, like, I'm up in the middle of the night watching this show now. I can't get enough.
Aside from The Office, I don't think that Steve Carell can pick a good script.
Oh, my God. Did you see how good he was?
He can act real well, but the scripts that he chooses to work on never in line with what I want to see until this.
Dude,
this is excellent television.
Yeah, he was awesome in that show. And so is I can't stand Reese Witherspoon. I think she's annoying because, like, you get a job like that and you act like that, Chael. You fall backwards into a job like that and you act like that. Get out. You be grateful, young lady. You be grateful.
A little more appreciation.
Yeah, it would go a long way. Look at us. We sit here every Monday and Thursday, Chael, and we are happy that ESPN decided to pluck us from obscurity, wrestling, and give us a platform. And you're going to act like that? Come on, dude. Show a little class.
You know, there's a season 2, by the way. Like, once you get done with this, you just got to reset. There's a morning
I already
show
started. I just finished season 2. There are 4 seasons. There are 4 seasons. The newest one just came out. If you haven't watched it yet, Chael, so go watch it. Okay, enough of that, right? Like, we are not here to talk about TV shows, even though I think people would like to watch us talk about TV shows. We're here to talk fighting. And, bro, the other day, Pereira and Ankalaev. So it started with a tweet, right? This is always the best. It starts with a tweet where Pereira calls him a coward, says he hid in the thing. So now the next time, Chael, which is obviously going to be really quick after the first time, because they're both at the PI. They will not be able to avoid each other anymore. So now Pereira is essentially backed Ankalaev into a corner to where the next time he sees Pereira, he's obligated, Chael, to make sure that if he's going down the hall and Pereira starts walking, he has to go towards him. He cannot turn away. Even though, like you said, you and I, we don't have to fight out here. He has to go to him. It happens. The next day, Chael, they start to talk through translators. I mean, you can't make this up. They're speaking through translators. The Russian translator goes, I can't repeat what he's saying because it'll make you two want to fight. So then they start Google translating insults to each other. You can't make this up. It was one of the most entertaining things I have seen in a real, because they're standing shoulder to shoulder.
Then what happens? I mean, at that point, when Google tells one of them this nasty thing that was said, do they get upset or do they just fire back?
Pereira said he was going to slap him. He said, I'm going to hit you.
Okay, but then does Ankalaev need to actually put himself on guard?
Yeah.
Or this is all in the spirit of fun?
I don't think it was in fun. I mean, it looked like it was going to get very bad. Here's the thing, though. We know there's security at the PI. We know there are guys there in the black shirts making sure guys don't fight. Where were they? Why wasn't this broken up the moment that they started to come together? Maybe because these guys are more professional than me and Jon Jones, per se? Like, they didn't break them up as fast as I would have broken them up. You know what I did the other day? I'm sorry, I just got a thought. You know what I did the other day, Chael?
Tell me.
So we're at Noche UFC, and John Silva hit Diego Lopez after the fight.
He sure did.
He hit him. We're in the octagon, and as they announce Diego Lopez as the winner, John Silva starts going towards him. I tell security, get him, because I don't know what's about to happen, Joe. I don't want to fight. That's what I would have done at the PI. Somebody should have stepped in. I was afraid of two 45-pounders. Imagine those two monsters in the middle of the PI in street clothes about to fight. Like, what was going on there?
Sure. Well, and that's the part, Daniel, that's the part where I've never really understood this back and forth in the first place. This all stemmed from the way I understood it, that Team Pereira is doing a workout when Ankalaev shows up to do his workout. When Ankalaev gets to the door and sees that Pereira is there first, Ankalaev hangs out in a side room, waits until they're done. That seems polite to me. That seems like the right thing to do. But then Ankalaev's politeness gets called a cowardice. And now, to your point, he is forced to show himself instead of just jockeying the schedule so they don't run into each other anymore. That part was where I kind of got confused. Like, they don't have to go out and be street toughs. They don't even have to be mean to one another. They just have to practice and prepare to beat one another. I don't think anybody is wrong here. And it's a little bit junior high-ish to be prompting back and forth and let's sit down and see what Google says. It's a little weird.
But, Chael, we talked about this, right? Sometimes you got to get yourself there. So we famously discussed Jon Jones getting himself there against Stipe. Pereira might need to get himself there. He might need to find a way to convince himself, I got this dude. Or at least the idea that none of the appeal was taken away. All that shine that he had going into fight number one, that wasn't damaged by losing because of the things that he did inside of the fight, Jill. And honestly, he might have lost. And when you look at the scorecards, and I don't know, like, Eric, could you throw the scores in there if you can't find it? I don't imagine it was very close. It might have been 49-46, maybe a 50-45, because it felt like if Pereira won, he won like maybe one round. I don't know, possibly two. I can't remember the fight as well. But it never felt like Ankalaev was going to lose the decision. So Pereira might need to still let us know that nothing changed. I am still me. And Chael, even in losing, Pereira, his performance actually impressed certain people. You being one of them. You said this after the fight.
I thought Pereira fought the best fight I've ever seen him fight. I thought he showed more skills in terms of getting off the fence, staying up on his feet, shutting Ankalaev down, getting his hips back, staying in control. He wasn't quite able to find his target. He was trying. He was getting there with the low kicks. He wasn't quite with the hands. The kicking went great. The boxing part wasn't so great. But as far as showing his skills and showing the world that this narrative that he can only do one thing, that narrative is dead.
Chill. That's a problem, my brother, because if that's the best he's ever looked, he still got beat.
I see it that same way. I thought that Pereira went out there, and despite of outcome, but performance-wise, the big belief on him was that if he matches up with a better wrestler, somebody can take him down. And beyond that, if somebody gets him down, he's not going to be able to get back up. And that got tested. That got tested very heavily. He got leaned on the fence a little bit, but he didn't stay down. When he did go down, he scrambled. He got up right away. All of a sudden, Ankalaev becomes this willing participant in the let's not take Pereira down club, right? It's just simply not worth it. But I wasn't seeing anything on their feet that was overwhelming for Pereira either. Pereira looked like a guy that was scared, cautious about the takedown. And the fear of the takedown is more effective than the takedown. If you can just offer that threat, that's what Ankalaev did so well. I don't know what changes Pereira can make, but there was nothing about those first 5 rounds that makes me think if I see another 5 rounds, I'm going to get a different outcome.
Well, I'm looking at the scores now, and they went Pereira round 1 across the board. Then the 2 judges had Ankalaev 2, 3, 4, and then 2 judges had Pereira 4 and 5. So 49-46, 48-47, 48-47. Much closer on the scorecards than I remember the fight being, because like you said, I felt the same way. Like, well, Ankalaev won this fight. But what I liked about that fight is that we did see evolution from Pereira, Chael. Remember, he got taken down by Israel Adesanya, and it was not a good takedown. Like, Izzy took him down. Izzy held him down. I don't know if Izzy has gotten another takedown in his UFC career. So we thought, hey, man, if you go wrestle this guy, but then when we watched him with Ankalaev, he couldn't take him down. He really was trying. So when I see a report that he goes, I wasn't really trying to take him down. Do you buy it? Like, do you buy that he was literally just spamming, like giving him the takedown feel, but not necessarily trying to put him down to the floor?
there is something to the idea that you go out and try something, in this case, a takedown, and you don't try it 100%, but you still expected it to work. So then you take it from, let's say, 80% to 90%. And it wasn't your full effort, but you still thought it was enough to make it work. And then there's a part of you that goes, look, I got another gear, but I don't want to use it. Because if I give him 100% and I fail, it's going to take that belief in myself away. And so there is an interesting thing where perhaps when Ankalaev says that, perhaps, yeah, he really didn't try his hardest, but I'm still trying to figure out where that changes the fight. Pereira had something happen to him that never happened to him before, which is he got pushed backwards. He cut off his lateral movement. He stopped him from coming forward. The only round that Pereira went forward is the first round, by the way, the one that he won unanimously. So I think the real key here that Pereira learned is I don't have to put him on the floor. I just got to get him moving that way. If I can put his shoulder and his butt up against the fence, I've done my part.
Hey, Chael, isn't that a hard question? And when you get the answer to it, man, if I just go and try to take him down as hard as I possibly can, and it doesn't work, how difficult it is to level change and go back to that takedown, it's horrible. So I get what Ankalaev is saying. But to me, it felt like the takedowns, or at least they expected them to be easier, and they weren't. Pereira did a good job of defending his legs. Unfortunately, that was the main concern, and it stymied him. He didn't do anything offensively because he was so worried about making sure he wasn't getting taken down. Now, you said he fought as well as he could. So what does he need to change, or what could he change? What can Alex Pereira change at 39 years old to flip what we saw in fight number one?
Well, first thing, stay off the fence. Second thing, the great commonality in Alex Pereira fights from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, in between fights, he does show growth. You brought up Israel Adesanya earlier. That was one thing that Izzy did as well, is he would show growth. Originally, the blueprint was to take him down, and then all of a sudden he got taken down, but you can't keep him there. Then all of a sudden he's not getting taken down, and if you do get him there, he's reversing positions. And I'm sharing that I do believe that Alex Pereira learns more in fights than his opponents. I believe that Alex Pereira has a higher IQ than his opponents, including Ankalaev. And Alex Pereira played this in a very interesting way. When I watched him training up at the PI and the video came out, I could tell there was a guy that was really hungry and in really good shape, but he's acted to the media as though he didn't even ask for this fight. He doesn't care if he gets the rematch. He's already had the belt. His body is saying one thing and his mouth is saying something different. And I'm starting to believe, partner, that this is very important to him. And I like it when he voices that. I wish just that he would share, but he's not going to go out and take down Ankalaev. Can he stop the takedowns? Maybe. If he does, he's still stuck on his feet. And there was nothing from those first 5 rounds that makes us believe in a good old pick-sticking match that Pereira can get over on Ankalaev. I think he's really going to have to change his strategy. And I think the answer to that strategy belongs in the clinch. Get your hands on him, push him, pull him, get behind that neck, dirty box a little bit. It's not all about takedowns or striking. There's also an in-between known as the clinch.
Yep. I think he has to damage him on the entries, because if he's going to get pushed back like he got pushed back, he needs to be throwing knees. That's one of the things that some of the best strikers do, that you might get close, but before you get close, you're going to take some real damage on the entries, knees to the body, body kicks. He's got to damage him on the way in if he wants a real opportunity to win this fight. In most cases, the guy that loses is a little more motivated. He's a little more excited to try to go and reclaim. There were so many questions about Pereira going into that first fight, talking about the stardom, the superstar level. Was he resting on his laurels? It didn't happen for him, right? He didn't win that fight. He could be the more motivated guy, but he is the older guy. They say usually when we have rematches, the younger guy is the one that gets the victory, right? Because he's got more room to improve. But everything that I've seen from Pereira, everything I've heard from Pereira tells me that we will see the best version of who Alex Pereira is. And if you are to be believed, we saw a great version last time. So if he's better than that, there's reason to believe he could potentially be the UFC champion again. But Magomed Ankalaev is not looking to let go of that championship, especially after how long he had to wait to get an opportunity to even fight for that championship, man. This is a big time fight, and I love all the stuff that's now on it with the bad blood and people not liking each other. I love it all. The co-main event has another title fight. Merab Dvalishvili will fight Corey Sandhagen. Chill. I sat down with Merab for a long interview, and we talked about so many things. One being the fight. Merab said, I'm going to be the first person to knock this dude out. Merab said that 90% of this fight will play out on the feet, and he's okay with that. It's time to whip out the BS meter, Chael. BS or no BS? Is Merab just going to take this guy down, or do you believe that the champ will be willing to stand with Corey Sandhagen being as dangerous as he is?
I would not gain respect for Merab if he goes out and gets a victory over Sandhagen and he does it all in the stand-up. I'm going to question Merab. Why, in your most important moment, which is a world title defense, did you not go with your best weapon? Why did you not dance with the one that brought you here? Why did you switch your style because a couple of kids on an internet forum who you don't even know told you that this is what we're supposed to do? I mean, Merab has made takedowns cool again. Merab's taken down so many people that people are keeping track, and they're actually thinking it's pretty cool. By the way, when he gets down to the ground, he's very busy. Sandhagen said about himself, I got to take you way back in a time machine to the night that he fought Aljamain Sterling. Fight lasted 44 seconds. Aljo got on top, took his back, choked him out, and Sandhagen stood up and told the announcers, well, my wrestling sucks. However, between that fight and the fight that he's going to have with Merab, somewhere along the way, Corey gets matched up with Nurmagomedov, and that ends up being a real grappling battle. It ends up being 3-2 on the rounds, where Sandhagen won 2 rounds, and that was a lot closer than anybody thought he was going to go with Umar Nurmagomedov, but he did it with his wrestling. So whatever tool that he once upon a time had that was very dull, he sharpened it. And it's not as though Merab's going to just be able to go manhandle him and take him down, at least not in theory. And I think when Merab sees that, when Merab sees somebody that's going to be difficult to take down, it's easier for me, Merab, to just come out and tell the world, well, I wasn't going to try to take him down anyway.
Yeah, because then, you're right. You set up that soft landing. We know about that, Joe. Like, man, honestly, I really didn't want to win that one, because if you lose that one, then you're like, well, see, I told you a long time ago, it really wasn't that big a deal. I've done that since I was a kid.
Everything's going my way.
Oh, yeah, it's fine, man. It played out exactly like I thought it would. Corey Sandhagen has improved his wrestling. The question becomes, has he improved his wrestling to the point that he can successfully defend Merab Dvalishvili over 25 minutes? That's the issue. That's where people struggle. And honestly, you, of all people, should understand that, because I have watched you countless times hit people with takedowns so many times that eventually they start to break and they start to wilt. Chael, when you fought Brian Stann, who, by the way, guys, Chael thought was dead, and sent a message to his phone, Brian, man, I want to apologize. He thought he died from COVID, talking about 2020.
I had some bad info.
Chael sent an apology to Brian's phone. If Brian was dead, he would have never gotten the message. Chael, at least I guess you thought his wife would see it and go, man, that Chael Sonnen's a great guy. But, Chael, the first takedown against Brian Stann was very difficult. You might have got it, but it was difficult. Then the second time was still relatively difficult. By the third time, when you hit him, Chael, and instead of going to their knees to get back up, they roll to their back and they take half guard, you go, now I got him. That is the game when you're a wrestler. And we've seen that with Merab. We've seen it time and time again, where with Sean O'Malley, right, in fight number 2, Sean was fighting those takedowns early. But by the third round, he kind of accepted that they were going to spend some time on their back. He got choked out. Can Corey Sandhagen defend effectively in round 1, 2, 3, and then as we get to round 4 and 5? Because that is where Merab becomes a real problem. Bro, even Umar, who was beating Merab in the first 2 rounds, his striking was too sharp, he was too crisp. In round 3, 4, and 5, Merab's like laughing, joking, playing, he's not exhausted, and he keeps spamming takedowns after takedown after takedown. And even if he's not taking you down, he's hitting you at the hips, making you defend. Corey will defend. Can he do it for 25 minutes, though, Chael?
And that's the question. Even Umar was able to get Corey down, but Corey wouldn't stay there. He would spin that into a scramble. He would feint a submission, right? He would throw up a triangle that he wasn't looking for. He was looking to just get access to the armpit to push him away to get back onto his feet. And that is what made Umar decide, I don't know if the squeeze is worth the juice. Like, as a takedown artist, you get on top of the guy, you need a couple of beats where you can just breathe.
Yep.
Almost like the video game. where that character's regaining his power. You just need a couple of beats. And the one thing that Sandhagen did so well and started to really frustrate Nurmagomedov is when he hit the mat, he didn't stay there. He didn't start playing a guard game. He started playing an escape and a reversal game. If he can do that with Merab, it's going to force Merab to do some things a little bit different. Merab isn't used to pinning guys down. He's used to posturing and pounding. Posturing and pounding, but now you got the third P, which is the pin. He's gonna have to pin, posture, pound. And it changes things, and it does equal for an exhaustion. And Sandhagen isn't the hardest guy in the world to put on his back, but he's very difficult to do damage to once you get him there. He's not afraid to fight from those positions and make you really earn it.
And he's long. He's like a long guy for the weight class. So his legs are long, he's kicking, he's creating space, distance. Corey Sandhagen is a real problem for just about anybody. But chill. I watch Merab laugh while submitting Demetrius Johnson. We know how good Demetrius Johnson is, chill. I get it, it's practice. And I know everything that happens in the restroom stays in the restroom, da-da-da-da. But, bro, Demetrius Johnson is as good and talented a mixed martial artist as anyone I've come across. Demetrius Johnson is also in that room with there's no pressure to be better. You can operate freely in practice, especially when you're retired and you're just a guy getting content. He's out there doing his thing, training hard, and Merab submits him. How impressed were you by that? Like seeing Merab submit DJ? Because honestly, I don't know if anybody's just better than Demetrius Johnson.
It was very legitimate. I mean, they were not playing around, and DJ wasn't like trying to build up his confidence or trying to get a good shot for the camera that they could put on Instagram. It was very real, and Demetrius got very surprised. One thing about Merab is he is so muscle-bound, we automatically assume that he's not going to have the flexibility of some skinnier guys. He got both. He got the best deal out there. He got the strength and the flexibility. So when it comes to the world of submission, man, I think that he sells himself short every now and then. I know in a cage fight, he greatly favors a rear naked choke, but there's a number of other things that Merab can do, and there's a number of things that, as well as Corey Sandhagen thinks he's got all the answers, Merab's the kind of guy that can go out and change the questions overnight. And I do feel when I was watching him sparring with Demetrius Johnson that was a different and more refined version of Merab than I'd ever seen.
It really is chaos, but it's controlled chaos. It's not nearly as wild as people think. But to that point, though, Chill, Sandhagen said that he does have the answers. He goes, I'm more well-rounded than anyone he's ever fought. So he's talking O'Malley, Umar, Cejudo, Pereira, and Aldo. The fact that these guys are all on Merab's resume is insane. Obviously, he's like a Hall of Famer before he ever even got the belt. But you believe Corey when he says that? He goes, he's more well-rounded than all these guys.
I think that he's shining himself up just a little bit. Look, I got to take Corey at his word. And as good as his performances have been, I heard him say, my wrestling sucks. So I know that was 4 years ago, but it's what he said. And then he never did anything to rectify that. He didn't move into with a college team. He didn't do a camp out at the Olympic Training Center. In MMA, it doesn't seem that his wrestling sucks anymore. In fact, he's even using it offensively. But I have to take a guy at his word. So if he is telling me that he's got holes in his game, I'm forced to believe him. I know there's gamesmanship, and I know there's reasons you would say something to get the opponent looking in a different direction. But as far as the most well-rounded 135-pounder, look, it's almost too big of a compliment. Whoever the most well-rounded 135-pounder is likely the greatest of all time.
Yeah, Chill. That's crazy. You're right. You're right. I believe Sandhagen's really, really good, and I think that he's going to be a real challenge for Merab. But, man, when I look at that list of guys, those are some studs. So it's hard to really differentiate between them because some are really good at one thing, two things, and, I mean, hell, Umar was able to beat him because he was able to not only take him down, even though he couldn't hold him down, he was able to strike with him. Corey was able to beat other guys because of the same thing. I just think they're all very evenly matched. And Chill, if I'm to say one guy's most well-rounded, I'm probably going to just put that on the champ because it's Merab. He's shown an ability to strike with him enough, and obviously his wrestling and cardio is next level. Khalil Rountree Jr. fights Jiri Procházka in the third fight from the top. Khalil Rountree Jr. is a very interesting case, right? He's a very nice guy. He fights hard, big power, showed tremendous heart against Alex Pereira. Jiri Procházka was the champion, has knocked out just about everybody he has fought. But when you look at these two and the way that they fight, the brutal style, who is more dangerous? Is it Rountree or is it Jiri Procházka?
Well, this is the fight. Just to start with, I mean, this is the fight. I don't know if we've had a feature match that has as many questions and what ifs as this one does. I want to answer your question because, boy, that's compelling.
Yeah.
I think of it from this perspective. If my son has to get in there and fight one of those guys, which guy would I rather it be? Which would be, of course, the guy with the less tools and less likely to hurt him. Procházka has a very special thing about him, and he's just as dangerous with his elbow as he is with his knee, as he is with his kick, as he is with his fist. Rountree is a little more right in front of you. He's explosive. He's an incredible athlete. He's going to use Muay Thai and only wrestle defensively. I think that I like Procházka in that fight, but I will tell you there is a lot on it. Whoever comes out of that match is going to have a great big shining star behind them. Whoever comes out of that match is going to go into the war room and be in consideration for a world title fight. Of course, how the main event this evening plays out is going to factor into that, but I like it a lot. I like Rountree versus Procházka. Procházka's got to watch himself. He keeps his chin up and his hands down a little bit too often. He cannot afford not one shot from Rountree at full speed, but I think that I like Jiri's chances in that the most.
It's a great fight. Jiri Procházka is a tremendous fighter. I'm going to chat with him later in the week. I talked to Khalil Rountree. That goes live today, but Chael, these guys are both insanely dangerous. Khalil Rountree and his power and his explosiveness is next level. Jiri Procházka does leave his chin up, especially when he's in range. When he's in range, he's far too comfortable. But, dude, it's almost like he's got like this blunt force to his strikes. Even when they're coming from weird angles, when he hits people, it's so bad. Now, Jamal Hill has been on the wrong end of both of these guys recently. When you look at them, who gave it to him worse? It's Jiri Procházka, right? Khalil controlled him. Khalil beat him over 25 minutes, but Procházka ended up finishing him in less than 15 minutes. But that's what Jiri does. But when we look at the light heavyweight picture, the worst thing for Jiri Procházka is for Alex Pereira to win that belt this Saturday because he's already beaten them twice, and they weren't necessarily close fights. He got knocked out twice. Khalil Rountree got beat by Alex Pereira. But if the champion is still Ankalaev, obviously he has a claim. But I don't even know that it matters. As much as we put on this fight and as much as it would seem to matter, they both will have won 2 fights in a row. 2 fights in a row. Carlos Ulberg has been on an absolute tear. He's number 3 in the world. He just knocked out Dominick Reyes in the first round. So, I mean, am I right, Chill? Does it even matter who wins this fight this week, or is Ulberg just the next guy right now?
Well, and that's the thing. When I mentioned that the winner of Khalil and Jiri goes into the war room, their name's going to be met with some other names, and one of those is going to be Ulberg. And after what Ulberg just did, not to mention against a former title challenger, I think that it greatly is meaningful. And when you talk about parity, and that's the one problem that some of these fights don't have is parity. Ulberg, that's fresh meat for either one of them. That's a brand new story being represented by a brand new continent and a brand new geographical location. I think Ulberg's in the driver's seat right now, but I do think there's a lot on it. I think the backup fighter is a coveted spot, and I think being next in line is a coveted spot. And it's not as though you're going to have Rountree versus Procházka, and it means nothing. What does it mean? That's still going to be revealed to us.
Yeah, that's up in the air. But if Jiri wins and Ankalaev wins, fresh match, now I could see Jiri maybe sliding in there because of his name value. But boy, if Pereira becomes a champ, Carlos Ulberg should almost be walking Alex Pereira out to the octagon, because if he wins, he's definitely going to be next. All right, y'all, I got a hot topic for you. Gable Steveson, all in now. We have seen the champ, Olympic wrestle, WWE wrestle, NCAA wrestle, Buffalo Bills football, now mixed martial arts, right? He is a man of many trades, can do it all. But now he's boxing, Jill. Now he's boxing. He made his MMA debut earlier this month, but he is now going to be fighting and headlining Jon Jones's boxing promotion, Dirty Boxing. You buy it? You buy Gable the boxer?
I buy that he's going to do it, and I also buy that that would take a lot of courage. To take a young man that wants to go into unarmed combat and then take his greatest tool away, I can't think of anybody over time that would have agreed to do something like that, let alone is actually going to step in there. I mean, it really nullifies it. Before you talk about his opponent or the experience of the opponent, if I can just stop right there, Gable has no experience. He's got no wins, no losses, no draw. He's clearly a better athlete. He's clearly a better specimen, but he's also agreeing to leave a lifeline of hard work and dedication in the back. There's something about that that is honorable. Now, I read that rule set, and I must tell you, I got a little confused. By example, Daniel, they allow ground and pound. They word it that we allow limited ground and pound, but limited still means that it exists. So it's not completely a bare knuckle fight, but it's pretty close too. And it's got my interest. And I think it shows a lot of courage by young Gable.
I think the ground and pound, you have to be like standing or something. You can't like go into the guard and like use ground and pound. I think once they go down, you can stand over them and hit them. But I'm not exactly sure. But yes, I love it. He's fighting a guy named Billy Swanson on October 30th. Because, yes, Chael, it's very brave. Because when he made his MMA debut, Chael, he looked amazing. He won the fight in the first round. But guess what he did the moment they came together? He threw him to the ground. Yep. Because that's what he does, right? As we all do, especially when we're early in our career. But I believe that by stepping outside of his comfort zone, it's going to make him a more well-rounded mixed martial artist, because he's going to go and do something that is so unfamiliar to him that he's going to have a different set of nerves. He's going to have to deal with those nerves. And I think if he can get through this and continues down this path, we've always agreed that we thought Gable Steveson could be very special in mixed martial arts. And now he's got Jon Jones by his side as his head coach. I think it's going to be a big journey for Gable Steveson. Hopefully this is the thing that sticks and he stays with it. Chael, we are not doing a show on Thursday. Boo. Because guess what? We're doing a show from Power Slap on Friday. ESPN2 and YouTube. Chael and I will be at Power Slap. Dude, last time I was at Power Slap, Chael, I went to New Orleans. You guys were doing a show there. It was one of the most insane environments I have ever seen. It was awesome. I didn't know if I could be in on Power Slap. I'm in, Chael. I'm in. And now we're doing Good Guy, Bad Guy from there. What you think?
I headed the same way. I was a little bit reluctant once I saw it in person, once I saw the production, felt the energy. I could see the athletes and I could see the seriousness of the event. I could see their desire to win. It changed everything. I love it now.
It was absolutely crazy, boy. New Orleans, like the kids say, it was a vibe. It was a vibe in New Orleans, Chael. I don't know, like I never thought I would sound so uncool saying things. I hear all my high school kids saying every day, and they actually make it sound cool. I think I'm gonna stop doing that. For Chael Sonnen, I'm Daniel Cormier. We will see you guys Friday from Las Vegas at Power Slap.